For 12 weeks, I begged, I pleaded with Doug Peterson, please, please run the football. I literally begged more than Ben Simmons begged for Kendall Jenner. And finally, Doug Peterson listened.
Anytime we stay balanced, I think as an offense, good things happen.
You think?
And you're able to score points and sort of control the ball. And I think you look around the league at the common theme of teams that have that balance are winning games. So, yeah, I think that's a formula that you can carry moving forward.
The Eagles came into yesterday's game running the ball only 38% of the time, 25th in the league. So why did it take so long?
It takes time. Run game, just like the passing game, there's timing, there's rhythm, there's all things that got to stay in sync, and it just comes with continue to work, and you just trust your players, trust your backs, and receivers are a big part of that, and you just keep working at it.
Ran the ball down the Giants' throat in the second half. Josh Adams in a 2-drive sequence, 9 carries for 60 yards. And in terms of the personnel packages, the Eagles had 2 to 3 tight ends on the field in the second half 61% of the time. So they were just using Josh Adams, using the offensive line, using the tight ends to run the ball down the Giants' throat.
Up front starts with them. Tight ends are involved, receivers are involved, as I mentioned, and then, of course, your quarterback getting us in and out of runs, good to bad, bad to good, and just making all that work.
Peterson was also asked why it took so long for Josh Adams to be the featured back, and here's what he had to say.
Remember, he started on practice squad, to start the season, and so we had Sproles, we had Jay, and Corey, and Wendell, so kind of knew what we had coming out of training camp, but you still don't know until players play, and then, to his credit, with taking advantage of some of the injuries, he has just kind of slowly worked himself, into this position. And listen, it's not to discount or discredit Corey and Wendell, because they do a lot of great things as well. It's just that Josh now is kind of taking that lead, and we continue to grow and try to increase his touches each week.
Can Josh Adams be the number 1 featured back for this Eagles offense moving forward? Well, we got 5 games to find out. And here's what I will say. When you compare Adams to the rest of these running backs, it's not even close. The holes have been there from the offensive line all season long. Corey Clement, Wendell Smallwood, they're one-cut runners. They don't have the vision and the feet that Josh Adams has. Look at this play right here. The cut and the bounce to the outside. This is a run that Josh Adams has in the arsenal, but Corey Clement and Wendell Smallwood simply do not. So many instances this year where the offensive line, these gaping holes to run through. Corey Clement, Wendell Smallwood, not seeing them. Josh Adams, though, he's seeing them at the moment. The other thing that you notice with him as a runner, it's the patience. And, I think this even has something to do with what he had at Notre Dame. You see, he had a great offensive line, best offensive line in the nation. And when you have a great offensive line, it allows the luxury of being patient and getting that burst through the hole when necessary. So with a guy like Adams, you take him from Notre Dame and you take him now with the Eagles and the way that this line is, he fits in. And, those power concepts, those power plays, he can gain those 2 to 3 to 4 gritty yards when you need him to. I already talked about the vision and the feet. So to be that downhill runner, he can be that, but he also has good enough feet and the vision to bounce something if it's not there. He's not exactly, how do I say this? He's not the most elusive. He does he does run a little bit upright, and he is a little bit stiff in his movements, but he's the best back on the roster, and he fits what the Eagles like to do. They want to run the power plays, but he also has the patience to run the sweep. See, it was the sweeps yesterday, which I was kind of interested. The runs to the outside. Can he get 3 to 4 to 5 yards on those runs to the outside to keep the defenses honest? Because you can't just pound them up the middle all the time. I mean, that's too predictable. You have to be able to do both. And the other thing I'd like to see moving forward a little bit too, the pass catching aspect, just really not there at the moment. I had one yesterday. Just looks really uncomfortable catching the ball out in the flat. But, you know, that's something they can work on. Right now, you're just kind of worried about him running the football and having the balance within the offense. And having the balance, I mean, it is so key right now moving forward. So those are some quick thoughts on Josh Adams and his game yesterday. He would have had like 140-plus yards if that one run wasn't called back. He averaged 3.8 yards per carry. But, you know, I thought he looked better than what the stats said. It was very predictable there by the end of the game when he was just picking up a yard or two a carry. But a good game for him moving forward. Maybe you got something. All right, I'm Adrian Fedkiw. I'm out of here. Those are my thoughts on Josh Adams today. See ya.